Are you screaming into the void? Picture this. You're pouring your heart into everything, your job, your relationships, your dreams. Day after day, you give it your all, pushing through exhaustion, chasing goals, and showing up for the people in your life. But no matter how hard you try, it feels like nobody notices. It's like you're standing on a mountaintop shouting at the top of your lungs and all you hear is silence echoing back. That sting of being overlooked, of wondering if your efforts even matter. Does that hit home? If you've ever felt invisible, undervalued, or like your worth hinges on what others think of you, then this video is for you. You're not alone in this struggle, and there's a way to break free from that cycle of seeking validation. We're about to dive into something powerful, the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that's been guiding people through life's chaos for over 2,000 years. Stoicism isn't just some dusty old set of ideas locked away in history books. It's a living, breathing toolkit, crafted by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, who faced the same human struggles we do today, feeling unseen, wrestling with purpose, searching for meaning. These were real people, navigating real challenges, from the pressures of ruling an empire to the hardships of enslavement. Yet they found a way to rise above, not by chasing applause or external rewards, but by cultivating an unshakable sense of self-worth. Their teachings cut through the noise of our modern world, where likes, comments, and promotions can feel like the measure of our value. What if you could find peace not in the fleeting approval of others, but in who you are at your core? That's what Stoicism offers. Practical, timeless strategies to transform how you see yourself and your place in the world. This journey we're embarking on isn't about quick fixes or empty promises. It's about real, actionable wisdom that you can apply right now, today, to start feeling valued. Not for what you achieve or how others perceive you, but for the person you are. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a quiet confidence, knowing your worth doesn't depend on someone else's nod of approval. Imagine facing life's ups and downs with a steady heart, rooted in principles that have stood the test of time. That's the power of Stoicism. It's not about becoming someone new, it's about uncovering the strength and value that's already within you. We'll explore how to shift your focus, let go of what you can't control, and build a life that feels meaningful, no matter what the world throws your way. So, are you ready to change the way you think about your worth? To stop screaming into the void and start listening to the voice within? This isn't just a video. It's an invitation to a new way of living, one where you define your value, not the world around you. Let's take the first step together, diving into the Stoic secrets that can help you feel seen, not by others, but by yourself. Grab a notebook, settle in, and let us embark on this journey to discover the unshakable worth that has been yours all along. The universal quest for value. Let's start with something that binds us all, no matter who we are or where we come from. That deep, burning need to be seen, to be valued. Whether you're a teacher shaping young minds, a parent juggling endless responsibilities, an artist pouring your soul into your work, or just someone trying to get through another tough day, we all crave the same thing, knowing our efforts matter. We want to feel that our time, our energy, our heart means something to someone somewhere. But here's the hard truth, the one that stings. Why do we so often tie our worth to what other people think? Why do we let a handful of likes, a promotion at work, or a nod of approval from someone else define who we are? It's a trap, isn't it? We fall into it, chasing validation like it's the key to our happiness, only to find it slipping through our fingers, leaving us feeling hollow, like we're running a race with no finish line. Think about it for a second. How many times have you checked your phone for a message, refreshed a post for reactions, or waited for someone to say good job? It's human nature to want that recognition, but when we let it become the measure of our value, we give away our power. We end up living for others' opinions, not our own truth. And that's where we lose ourselves, chasing a fleeting sense of worth that depends on someone else's mood or attention. It's exhausting, and deep down you know it's not sustainable. There's got to be a better way, a way to feel valued for who you are, not just what you do or how others react. Now let's take a step back, way back, over 2,000 years, to ancient Greece and Rome. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus were wrestling with these same questions. They didn't have social media, 24/7 news cycles, or the pressure of viral trends, but Human nature? It hasn't changed one bit. They saw people around them struggling to feel worthy, caught in the same cycle of seeking approval and coming up short. A Roman emperor like Marcus Aurelius faced the weight of an empire while Epictetus, born a slave, carried the burden of powerlessness, yet both found clarity in the same truth. Our worth isn't dictated by the world as applause. These weren't just thinkers sitting in ivory towers. They were people living messy, real lives, and they developed practical strategies to navigate the chaos we all face. These Stoic ideas aren't locked away in some dusty old textbook gathering cobwebs. They're alive, vibrant, and just as relevant today as they were back then. Stoicism isn't about detaching from life or becoming emotionless. It is about finding peace in the storm, building a sense of value that no one can take away. So, let us dive into 9 Stoic strategies that can shift how you see yourself and your place in the world. These are tools to help you stop chasing external validation and start embracing the worth that's already yours. First up, let's talk about something you can never get back, your most precious resource. Value your time, like gold. Imagine waking up tomorrow, eyes blinking open as the alarm buzzes. Your first instinct is to hit snooze, to steal a few more minutes of sleep, to let the day wait. But what if, instead, you pause and realize something profound? Every single second of this day belongs to you, but it is not infinite. Time is the one resource you can never replenish, the one thing you can't buy, borrow, or beg for more of. Seneca, one of the sharpest Stoic minds, hit the nail on the head when he said, "Life isn't too short. We just waste so much of it." That stings, doesn't it? How many times have you caught yourself saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," pushing off a dream, a goal, or even a small moment of joy? That habit of delay isn't just stealing your time. It's quietly chipping away at your sense of worth, making you feel like your life is somehow less important than it is. Think about how often we let time slip through our fingers. We scroll through our phones, get lost in distractions, or put off what really matters because it feels too big, too hard, or just not urgent enough. But every time we say later, we're betting on a future that's not guaranteed. The Stoics, like Seneca, saw this trap clearly. They urged us to treat time like gold, precious, irreplaceable, and deserving of care. Imagine if you started each day with a simple question: what matters most today? Not what's screaming for your attention, not the endless to-do list, but what truly aligns with who you want to be. Maybe it's a heartfelt conversation with someone you love, a small step toward a long-held goal, or even just a quiet moment to sit with your thoughts and breathe. Those choices aren't just about filling time. They're about claiming it, about declaring that your life is worth investing in. When you start treating time with intention, something shifts. You're not just going through the motions. You're building a life that reflects your values. Seneca wasn't telling us to cram every second with productivity. He was reminding us to act with purpose. By focusing on what's meaningful, you're sending a message to yourself and the world. My time is valuable, and so am I. It's not about being busy, it's about being deliberate. Maybe it's choosing to write that book you've been dreaming of, or finally saying no to things that drain you. Each choice becomes a brick in the foundation of your self-worth. And here's the beauty. When you value your time, others start to notice. They see someone who respects themselves, and that commands respect in return. So, how do you spend your days? Are you investing them in what lights you up, or are you letting them slip away in a blur of some days? The Stoics challenge us to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start acting now. Take a second to think. What is one thing you've been putting off that could move you closer to who you want to be? Hold that thought, because the next strategy we're diving into flips the script on how you treat yourself, and it's a game changer for building a life that feels truly valuable. Put yourself first. It's not selfish. Here's a scenario we've all lived through. Your schedule is a relentless avalanche. Work deadlines piling up, family demands tugging at you, friends needing your ear. You're running on fumes, giving every last drop of energy to everyone else like a phone with a battery flashing red. Yet you keep pushing until you're completely drained. Sound familiar? We've been taught that putting others first is the noble thing to do, the hallmark of a good person. But here's where Stoicism flips the script with a truth that hits hard. If you don't take care of yourself, you've got nothing left to offer. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who wrestled with the weight of the world, put it in a way that still resonates. When you're in harmony with yourself, you're in harmony with the universe. That's not just poetic. It's a call to rethink how you treat yourself. We often equate self-care with indulgent things, bubble baths, fancy spa retreats, or those aesthetic wellness trends splashed across social media. And sure, those can be nice, but Stoic self-care runs deeper. It's not about pampering. It's about protecting your inner strength. It's about setting boundaries, saying no when your plate is overflowing, and carving out time for what keeps you grounded. Maybe that's a quiet walk where you can hear your own thoughts, curling up with a book that lights you up, or just 5 minutes of silence to breathe and reset. These small acts aren't selfish. They're essential. When you prioritize yourself, you're building a foundation of resilience that lets you show up fully for others, whether it's as a friend, a partner, or a colleague. You can't pour from an empty cup, and the Stoics knew that filling your own is the first step to giving generously. This idea challenges everything we're taught about selflessness. Society often glorifies the martyr, the person who sacrifices everything for others, but Marcus Aurelius saw through that. Neglecting yourself doesn't make you a hero. It leaves you burned out, resentful, and less capable of making a difference. When you take time to recharge, you're not turning your back on others. You re-ensuring you can be there for them in a way that's meaningful and sustainable. Imagine showing up to your relationships with energy, clarity, and patience instead of exhaustion. That's the power of putting yourself first. It is about recognizing that your well-being isn't a luxury. It is the bedrock of a life well lived. So, what's one small way you can put yourself first today? Maybe it's saying no to an extra task that doesn't serve you, or setting aside 10 minutes for something that brings you joy. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be intentional. The Stoics remind us that self-care is a discipline, a choice to value yourself enough to protect your peace. Try it, and notice how it shifts not just how you feel, but how you show up in the world. Ready for the next step? We're diving into a skill that's tougher than it sounds, one that can transform your connections and your sense of worth. Let's keep going. Listen more. Speak less. Have you ever been in a conversation where you're just biding your time, waiting for your moment to jump in? You're nodding along, maybe even throwing in a polite, but in your head, you're already crafting your next brilliant point. We've all been there, caught in that mental rehearsal instead of actually hearing what's being said. In a world that celebrates being loud, quick, and always ready with a comeback, truly listening feels like a lost art. But here's where Stoicism drops a game changer. Listening, really listening, is a superpower. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to become a beacon of wisdom, nailed it with this gem. We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Use them in that ratio. It's a simple but profound reminder that listening isn't just a skill. It's a way to show respect, build connection, and elevate your own value. Listening goes way beyond just catching the words someone's saying. It's about diving into their world, understanding their fears, their dreams, their unspoken worries. When you give someone your full attention, you're sending a powerful message. I value you. You're creating a space where they feel seen, heard, and understood. And here is the beautiful twist. That act of listening doesn't just lift them up. It makes you more valuable too. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel heard, who don't just wait for their turn to speak, but actually care about what is being shared. Epictetus knew this wasn't easy in a world that often feels like a shouting match, where the loudest voice seems to win. But Stoicism teaches us that real strength lies in restraint, in choosing to listen with intention rather than rushing to respond. So, how do you put this into practice? Next time you're in a conversation, whether it's with a friend, a coworker, or even a stranger, try this pause. Resist the urge to jump in with your own story or advice. Instead, ask a question that shows you're engaged. Maybe it's as simple as, "What did that feel like for you?" Or, "Can you tell me more?" Be present, not just physically but mentally. Let go of the need to prove your point or sound clever. You'll be amazed at how this small shift transforms the dynamic. People will start to see you as someone who brings depth to interactions, someone worth respecting, and more than that, You'll learn something about them, about yourself, about the world. This Stoic principle isn't about staying silent or fading into the background. It's about creating space for real connection, the kind that makes both you and the other person feel valued. Epictetus' wisdom reminds us that listening is an act of courage, a choice to prioritize understanding over being understood. So try it in your next conversation, really listen, and notice what shifts. How does it change the way you feel? How do others respond? Hold that thought because we're moving on to the next step, and it's all about embracing who you are, unapologetically. Ready to dive in? Embrace your true self. Picture yourself standing at a fork in the road. One path stretches out before you, smooth and well-worn, bustling with people who seem to know exactly where they're going. It feels safe, familiar, like the easy choice. The other path? It's rough, overgrown and uncharted, winding into the unknown. But deep down, you know it's yours. Uniquely yours. Which do you choose? We've all faced this moment, that tug-of-war between fitting in and standing out. Maybe you've toned down your quirks to blend in at work, stayed quiet in a group to avoid conflict, or shaped yourself to match what you think others want. It's tempting to conform, to smooth out your edges to keep the peace. But Seneca, a Stoic philosopher with a knack for cutting through life's noise, said it best. If you want to be loved, start by loving yourself. That's where the journey to authenticity begins. Being authentic isn't just about being different. It's about being real, and that takes serious courage. It means showing up as you are, flaws and all, not as the version you think the world expects. Maybe it's speaking up about what you truly believe, even if your voice shakes. Maybe it's embracing the hobbies or passions you've hidden because they were weird. We've all felt that pressure to mold ourselves into someone else's idea of perfect, whether it's to impress a boss, fit in with friends, or chase approval online. But here's the Stoic truth. When you hide your true self, you are not just dimming your light. You are robbing yourself of the chance to be valued for who you are. Seneca's words remind us that love and respect start from within. When you embrace your authentic self, you stop chasing external validation and start building a life that feels true. And here's the magic. Authenticity is magnetic. When you show up as the real you, messy, unique, one of a kind, you attract the right people. Not the ones who want a polished, cookie-cutter version of you, but those who see your quirks, your passions, your heart, and say, that's someone worth knowing. That's where true respect is born, not from fitting in, but from standing out as yourself. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are they're not perfect, they're real. They've got that spark of authenticity that draws you in. You can have that too, but it starts with a choice, to stop hiding and start showing up. So where in your life are you holding back? Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding, a dream you've tucked away, or a part of yourself you've kept under wraps. What's one small way you can lean into being more authentic today? It could be as simple as sharing an honest opinion, wearing something that feels like you, or pursuing a goal you've been scared to admit you want. Seneca's wisdom pushes us to be brave, to love ourselves enough to let our true selves shine. That's the path to a life where you're valued for who you are, not who you pretend to be. Ready for the next step? It's about finding strength in a place you might not expect. Vulnerability. Let's keep going. Stay calm in the storm. Life's messy, isn't it? One minute you're cruising along, and the next you're hit with a tidal wave of chaos, looming deadlines, heated arguments, or unexpected curveballs that throw you off balance. It's so easy to let frustration take the wheel, to snap at a coworker, vent in a text, or just lose it. We've all been there, feeling that heat rise in our chest, ready to erupt. But here's where Stoicism steps in like a lighthouse in a storm. Seneca, one of the sharpest Stoic minds, gave us a gem. The best way to handle anger is to pause. That tiny space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. That's where your true power lies. It's not about dodging the storm. It's about navigating it with a steady hand, keeping your cool when everything else is falling apart. Staying calm isn't about bottling up your emotions or pretending you're a robot. Stoicism doesn't ask you to suppress what you feel. It asks you to choose how you act on those feelings. When you're faced with a rude comment, a stressful situation, or a moment that makes your blood boil, the Stoic way is to take a beat. That pause is your secret weapon. It's the difference between reacting impulsively and responding with intention. Imagine dealing with a snarky coworker or a family spat, and instead of firing back, you respond with quiet strength, calm, composed, in control. That's not just diffusing conflict. It's showing the world you're the one steering the ship. Seneca's wisdom reminds us that staying calm earns you respect, not just from others, but from yourself. It's a way of saying, I'm bigger than this moment, and I choose my peace. So, how do you actually do this when life's coming at you fast? It's simpler than you think, but it takes practice. Next time you feel your temper rising, whether it's a cutting remark, a missed deadline, or just one of those days, try this. Take a deep breath, count to 5. In that moment, ask yourself, what's in my control here? Maybe you can't change the situation or the other person's attitude, but you can control your response. That question grounds you, pulling you back to what Epictetus, another Stoic giant, always emphasized. Focus on what's yours, your thoughts, your actions. This small act of pausing can be a game changer. It's like hitting the reset button on your emotions, giving you clarity to act with dignity instead of regret. Practicing this kind of calm doesn't just help you navigate life as storms. It builds a reputation. People notice when you handle tough moments with grace. They see someone who's not swayed by every gust of chaos, and that commands respect. More importantly, it preserves your inner peace, that sacred space the Stoics valued above all. So, think about a recent moment when you lost your cool. What could a pause have changed? Try it next time and watch how it shifts the dynamic. Ready for the next strategy? It's about the power of what you choose not to say. Let's keep going. Let others in. Let's talk about something that feels harder than it should. Asking for help. Picture yourself standing at the base of a towering mountain. Your to-do list is a landslide of work deadlines, personal goals, and life's endless chaos. You're ready to climb, but the weight of it all is crushing, and deep down you're determined to go it alone. Why? Because reaching out for support feels like raising a white flag, like admitting defeat. We've all been there, stubborn pride whispering that we should handle it ourselves. But Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, who carried the weight of Rome, saw it differently. He said humans are built to lean on each other, to exist for one another, either teach others or learn to bear with them. That's not just philosophy. It's a reminder that connection, not isolation, is where real strength lies. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a mark of wisdom. It's recognizing that no one climbs a mountain solo, no matter how tough they are. Think about it. Even the greatest heroes in history had allies, mentors, or friends who lifted them up. Whether it's asking for advice on a tricky project, sharing an emotional burden with a trusted friend, or collaborating with a colleague to get something done, letting others in doesn't diminish you. It makes you stronger. It's like adding ropes and anchors to your climb, giving you stability to go higher. Marcus Aurelius knew that our interconnectedness is a gift, not a liability. When you open the door to others, you're not just lightening your load. You're building trust, deepening relationships, and showing the world you're secure enough to say, I can't do this alone. That's confidence, not surrender. This Stoic principle challenges the myth of the lone wolf, the idea that success means doing it all by yourself. We live in a world that often glorifies the self-made hero, but the truth is, no one succeeds in a vacuum. Every achievement, big or small, is woven with the support of others, whether it's a teacher who inspired you, a friend who listened, or a teammate who picked up the slack. Letting others in opens you to new perspectives, shared strengths, and the kind of connection that makes life richer. It's not about depending on others to fix everything. It's about recognizing that collaboration makes us all better. When you ask for help, you're not just solving a problem, you're creating a bond, a moment of mutual respect that elevates everyone involved. So, take a moment to think. Who in your life could you reach out to? Maybe it's a friend who's great at giving advice, a coworker who could brainstorm with you, or a family member who'd love to share the load. What's one thing you've been carrying alone that someone else could help with? It could be as simple as asking for feedback or admitting you're overwhelmed. That small act of vulnerability is a step toward strength. The Stoics remind us that we're stronger together, and embracing that truth builds a life of resilience and connection. Ready for the next step? It's about keeping your cool when life gets stormy. Let's dive in. Keep some things private. We live in a world that's absolutely obsessed with sharing. Every thought that pops into your head, every meal you eat, every fleeting moment of your day. It is like there is an unwritten rule that it all needs to be posted, liked, and commented on. Scroll through any social media feed, and it's a constant stream of updates. What someone's feeling, where they're going, what they're eating. It's easy to get swept up in that current, to feel like you are only real if you are out there for the world to see. But here's where Stoicism offers a powerful counterpoint. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who went from slave to sage, had this one figured out. Stay silent most of the time, and when you do speak, make it count. Not everything in your life needs to be public. In fact, there's incredible strength in holding back and choosing what stays yours. Keeping parts of your life private isn't about hiding or being secretive. It is about protecting your peace. When you overshare, you're flinging open the doors to your inner world, inviting judgment, comparison, or even drama to waltz right in. Think about it. How often have you posted something online, then felt that pang of anxiety waiting for reactions? Or maybe you shared a personal struggle only to regret it when it was met with unsolicited opinions or misunderstanding. Epictetus's wisdom reminds us that not every thought, feeling, or experience needs an audience. By being selective about what you share, you're setting boundaries that say, "My inner world matters." It's like building a sanctuary, a quiet, sacred space where only you and a few trusted people are allowed. That's where self-respect takes root, where you start to value your own thoughts and experiences without needing the world's approval. This Stoic principle feels radical in a culture that equates sharing with connection. We're told that being open about everything makes us relatable, authentic. But there's a cost to that openness. Oversharing can dilute the meaning of your experiences, turning something precious into just another post for likes. It can also leave you vulnerable, exposing parts of yourself to people who might not deserve that access. Epictetus wasn't saying to shut everyone out. He was urging us to be intentional. Share what builds connection, what aligns with your values. But keep some things close just for you or those you trust most. That choice creates a sense of inner strength, a quiet confidence that doesn't need external validation to feel real. So, let's try this. Ask yourself, what's one thing you've been sharing that could stay private? Maybe it's a personal goal you don't need to broadcast, a struggle you're working through, or even a small joy you want to savor alone. How would it feel to keep that moment just for you, like a treasure tucked away in your heart? Practicing this kind of restraint isn't about building walls. It asks about creating space for peace and self-respect to grow. The Stoics knew that what you hold back can be just as powerful as what you share. Ready for the next lesson? It's about keeping your growth alive, never stopping. Let's dive in. Never stop growing. Ever feel like you're stuck in a rut, like you're trudging down the same worn-out path day after day with no real progress to show for it? We've all been there, standing at the edge of something new, a fresh idea, a bold move, a change that could shake things up, but hesitating because it feels too risky. Maybe it's the fear of failing or the comfort of the familiar holding you back. But Seneca, one of Stoicism's wisest voices, cut through that hesitation with a truth that hits hard. Things aren't difficult because we done try. They difficult because we done and dare. That's the spark that can jolt you out of stagnation. It's not the challenge itself that's the problem. It's the moment we decide to stay safe instead of stepping forward. Growth, the Stoics teach us, is about daring to move into the unknown, even when it scares you. Continuous growth is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It's not about chasing perfection or making massive leaps overnight. It's about embracing the unknown, one small step at a time. Whether it's learning a new skill, confronting a fear, or simply asking yourself better, deeper questions, every challenge is an opportunity to stretch. Each one makes you a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more you. Seneca's insight reminds us that growth isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to grow. Start small. Read a single page of a book that challenges your thinking. Try a new hobby that pushes you out of your comfort zone, or have that tough conversation you've been avoiding. These moments, tiny as they seem, are the building blocks of a life that feels rich and meaningful. When you commit to growth, something powerful happens. Each step forward, no matter how small, builds your confidence and reinforces your sense of value. You start to see yourself not as someone stuck in a loop, but as someone capable of evolving, of becoming more. The Stoics believed that life is a classroom and every experience, good or bad, is a lesson if you're open to it. Think about the last time you pushed past your fear to try something new. Maybe it was nerve-wracking, but didn't it feel alive? That's what growth does. It reminds you that you're not just existing, you're thriving. And the more you grow, the more you realize your worth isn't tied to external markers like praise or success. It is in your willingness to keep moving forward. So where in your life are you playing it safe? Maybe it's a skill you've been meaning to learn, a conversation you've dodged, or a dream you've shelved because it feels too big. What's one small way you can push yourself to grow today? It could be as simple as watching a tutorial, asking a question, or taking 5 minutes to reflect on what you want. Seneca's call to dare is a call to action. Growth starts when you choose to move. We're almost at the end, but the next strategy is a game changer that'll shift how you show up in the world. Let us dive in. The power of mystery. Let's dive into something that's quietly captivating. The art of mystery. Think about someone you really admire, not the person who blasts every detail of their life, but the one who reveals just enough to keep you intrigued. They don't spill their whole story up front. Instead, they drop hints, share glimpses, and leave you wanting to know more. There's a subtle, almost magnetic power in not laying all your cards on the table. Baltasar Gracian, a philosopher whose ideas echo Stoic wisdom, put it perfectly. Mix a little mystery into everything, and that mystery sparks respect and fascination. In a world that's constantly nudging us to overshare, to post every thought and moment, this approach feels like a rebellion. A quiet, confident way to stand out by holding back. We're surrounded by a culture that equates openness with authenticity, where every victory, struggle, or random coffee run is broadcast for likes and comments. But there's something exhausting about that, isn't there? When you put everything out there, you risk diluting what makes you unique. Gracian's advice, steeped in Stoic restraint, flips the script. Being selective about what you share creates intrigue. It is not about being secretive or playing games. It is about valuing your story enough to reveal it thoughtfully. Share your wins, your dreams, your ideas, but leave some depth for others to uncover over time. That restraint draws people in, making them lean closer, eager to discover the layers beneath the surface. It's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs instead of handing over the whole loaf. You invite curiosity, respect, and genuine connection. This Stoic-inspired principle is about signaling confidence and self-respect. When you don't feel the need to tell everyone everything, you show that your worth doesn't depend on their approval. Think about it. The people who fascinate us most often have an air of mystery, a sense that there's more to them than meets the eye. You can cultivate that too, not by hiding who you are, but by being deliberate about what you share. Maybe it's keeping a personal goal private until it's ready to shine, or holding back a story until the right moment with the right person. That choice creates a space where others see you as someone with depth, someone worth getting to know. It is not about manipulation, it is about honoring your own complexity and inviting others to do the same. So here's a challenge. Next time you are tempted to spill every detail, whether it's in a conversation, a post, or a group chat, pause. Ask yourself, what's enough to connect, and what can stay mine for now? Share just enough to build a bridge, but keep some of your story untold. Notice how it feels to hold that space for yourself, and watch how others respond. Does it change the way they see you? Do they lean in, curious for more? Gracian's wisdom teaches us that mystery isn't just a tactic. It is a way to cultivate respect, both from others and within yourself. Ready for the final piece? We're about to wrap this up with the biggest Stoic lesson of all, one that ties everything together. Let's go. Your worth is already within. Here's the twist you might not see coming, the one that flips everything you thought you knew about value. All these Stoic strategies we've been exploring, valuing your time, caring for yourself, listening deeply, being unapologetically authentic, accepting help, staying calm in chaos, keeping parts of your life private, committing to growth, and embracing a touch of mystery. They were not about earning your worth like some prize you have to hustle for. They were about waking up to a truth that has been true all along. Your worth is already there, woven into the very fabric of who you are. Stoicism, through the wisdom of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, teaches us that our value doesn't come from the world's applause, the number of likes on a post, or the achievements we stack up. It's found in something far deeper: your character, the choices you make, the way you show up for life every single day. Think about that for a moment. How often do we tie our sense of self to external markers, a promotion, a compliment, a viral moment? They feel good, but they're fleeting. The Stoics saw through this trap. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire under constant pressure, didn't measure his worth by the cheers of the crowd. Epictetus, who started life as a slave, found his value not in freedom from chains but in the freedom of his mind. Seneca, navigating the treacherous politics of Rome, didn't chase validation from others. He sought it in living with purpose and integrity. These were men who faced life's highs and lows just like we do, and they understood a profound truth. Your worth isn't something you need to prove. It's in how you face the storms, how you choose to act, how you live in alignment with your principles, even when no one's watching. This Stoic perspective is liberating because it shifts the power back to you. You don't need to wait for someone else's approval to feel valuable. You don't need a bigger paycheck, a perfect relationship, or a flawless track record. You are enough right now, exactly as you are. The question isn't whether you are worthy. It is how you will live that truth today. Will you choose to honor your time by focusing on what matters? Will you listen with intention, act with courage, or embrace your authentic self? Each of these choices is a reflection of your inherent value, a way of saying, I am here, and I matter. Stoicism isn't about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering the strength and worth that's been yours all along. So let's make it personal. What's one Stoic principle that resonates with you? Maybe it's pausing to stay calm when life gets heated, or daring to grow by stepping into the unknown. Whatever it is, carry it forward. Try it today, even in a small way, and notice how it feels to live from a place of inner strength. Your worth isn't up for debate. It is in every choice you make to live with purpose and resilience. How will you shape your life with that truth? That's the Stoic challenge, and it's yours to embrace. Your journey starts now. We've just walked through 9 powerful Stoic strategies, plus a final truth that ties them all together like a golden thread. But here is the thing. This isn't at the end of the road. It is just the starting line. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca isn't meant to sit in your mind like a dusty old book on a shelf. These ideas are for living, for breathing life into every single day. They're tools to help you build a life where you feel valued, not because of what the world says, but because of who you choose to be. The beauty of Stoicism is that it's practical. You don't need to be a philosopher or meditate on a mountaintop. You can start small, right now. Pick one strategy that resonates. Maybe it's valuing your time like the precious resource it is, or truly listening in your next conversation. Try it today, and notice how it feels. Pay attention to how it shifts the way you see yourself and how others respond to you. This journey to feeling valued is yours to shape, and it's not about chasing perfection. Stoicism isn't asking you to be flawless or to overhaul your life overnight. It's about showing up, day after day, with intention and courage. Maybe you pause before reacting to a stressful moment, or you choose to be authentic instead of blending in. Each small act is a step toward a life that feels meaningful, a life where you're not waiting for someone else's approval to know your worth. Marcus Aurelius journaled to himself to stay grounded. Epictetus taught that our power lies in our choices. Seneca reminded us to live with purpose. These aren't abstract ideas. They're invitations to act, to live deliberately, to build a quiet strength that no one can take away. What's one small way you can embody that today? Maybe it's saying no to something that drains you, or taking a moment to reflect on what truly matters. Let's make this personal. Which of these strategies hit home for you? Was it the call to protect your peace by keeping some things private, or the challenge to grow by stepping into the unknown? Maybe it's the idea of staying calm when life gets messy, or the power of embracing your true self. I'd love to hear your story. Drop it in the comments below. Share what resonated, what you're going to try, or how you're already living these Stoic principles. Your experience might just inspire someone else in this community. And if you're hungry for more Stoic wisdom to light your path, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep this journey going together, supporting each other as we navigate life's highs and lows. This is about finding peace, not in the noise of the world's applause, but in the quiet strength within you. Stoicism teaches us that our value is in how we live, our choices, our resilience, our character. So take that first step today. Choose one principle, live it, and see where it takes you. Stay stoic, my friends, and let's keep growing into the best versions of ourselves.